Welcome back to the broadcast. I'm still out of breath watching that performance. Hey, are you at home maybe thinking about starting a business? When it comes to branding your business, the last thing you want to do is become invisible. You want people to know you're there. And this idea can even play over into nonprofit organizations as well. So how do you get your message out there and how do you get it to stick? Author and host of our sister show, The Texas Daily, Jeff Brady, is here to tell us more. This book that you've written, I've read. It's given me such great ideas for Little Sweet Nothings from my company.
I know. You can put it to work right away.
Yes, and these are all good, simple ideas of how to get your message across without being in consumers' faces too much.
Well, that's the problem. You know, we're all overwhelmed with media fatigue. I call it media fatigue in the book because there's so many messages bombarding us every day. You know, so we kind of become insulated or immune to messages that might really matter that we need to pay attention to. So that's problem number one, is that there's just too much media clutter out there.
Yeah.
And we know, right? We know because we're in the middle of it.
Well, what are there, 800 some odd television stations, and everyone's got an infomercial, and you've got it on the internet and everything.
Right, but the message of the broadcast rises above, right? So you want that brand echo, and that's what the book talks about, is creating a message that people will gravitate toward, they'll understand, they'll get it, and they'll pass it on for you. And that's the whole key of the brand echo. You know, it's kind of a word-of-mouth marketing concept.
So what are some simple tips for people who, I know many of our viewers they're maybe stay-at-home moms, and they're trying to start a new business. Maybe they start by blogging or something like that. What are some of the rules that you've learned?
And I've heard, everybody's thinking about a new business. Everybody's thinking about starting something. May have mentioned to you before, but I've heard that in Dallas, it's kind of like in LA, everyone has a screenplay. Yeah. But here in Dallas, everyone has a business plan they want to start.
Yes.
So there's a lot of would-be entrepreneurs. But the problem sometimes is getting the word out. And so one thing you have to keep in mind is the brain likes a story. So above and beyond all of that clutter and all of the messaging and the branding and the advertising, if you can get a story out there that people are captivated by regarding your product or your show or your campaign or your service,
your mission behind your business.
Yeah, so that's the kind of message that people will remember and they'll spread for you. And it has to be a story not about you and how great maybe the broadcast is, but it's a story about them and how their life changed when they used your product or your brand. So Sweet Nothings, right? People were delighted when they tasted it. It was amazing, and they can't wait to go out and tell people about it. And that's the brand echo. So you want people to tell that story. That's lesson number one.
Okay.
Is get the story down. And then secondly, you've got to kind of flip the focus. It's not, like I said, it's not necessarily a story about you, but it's a story about them. So you want people telling a story about themselves and how whatever product or service you have solved a problem of theirs. So there was something they were looking for. They couldn't quite get it done. They couldn't get over the hump. They couldn't solve the problem until they discovered the broadcast and what a great product it is. And so now they're going to talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it really is about getting, and of course, brand economics. It's about getting the word out there and making people repeat your message.
Right.
So do people make mistakes, though, about getting the wrong message out there?
Yes.
And then how do you undo that when you start that ball rolling?
Well, I mean, I think, like I said, the mistake number one is that they want to beat their chest and they want to brag about them. Come down, we're having a sale, or, we're the best, or we're better, or we just hired a new vice president of technology or sales. Nobody cares about that.
Or new management.
New management, nobody cares. But they will care about a great story that a friend tells to them. You and I are friends, so if I say, I found this great restaurant and it was amazing, it really met a need, or it served me in a new and compelling way, and I'm going to tell you about it, you're going to listen because we know each other, and you're probably going to be very likely to try that product or service because it comes word of mouth. It's an echo from me to you. Okay,
so last question. How do you inspire people to repeat the message?
Well, you want to give them that experience. You want to give them an experience where they encounter your brand, they try your product, they sample it, and it just wows them. It blows them away. And sometimes you can do that with customer service. Sometimes you can do it with an amazing product, like you've got, or like the broadcast.
Right.
So it's really about meeting people's needs, solving a problem, and giving them a personal experience that they can own and they want to share with others.
And telling that story consistently over your social media, your web page.
That's the great thing. Yeah, a brand echo trumps any media platform because it can go anywhere. You talk to your best friend on the phone or on Twitter or Pinterest or whatever.
Yeah, if you are starting a business, you have this is what you need to have. This needs to be your little Bible. You can check out JeffBradySpeaks.com to get more information about his book, Brand Economics. Plus, you can pick it up at a little thing called Amazon.com.
Oh, yes, absolutely. We're there. Yeah.
I love this. Thank you so much
Thanks,
for coming
Lisa.
on and talking
This is
about
so
it.
much fun.